guys, welcome back to the channel. Today is October the 16th. Yes, it is Sunday morning, and today we're going to be talking about that indicator that a lot of you guys probably use in your trading day in and day out, and that is the VWAP. What does it stand for, guys? Volume Weighted Average Price. We're going to talk about how we can use it in our trading strategy. Do I use it in my trading strategy? You know, how to properly use it as well. If you're going to use it as a key level in your trading strategy or in your trading. So we'll talk about all those things, but stay tuned for the intro and we'll jump right into the details. So let's talk about the VWAP, all right? First of all, most of everyone who has been watching the channel for a period of time, you know that I like to trade from a clean chart. I do not like a lot of clutter on my charts, and I do not like to overcomplicate things with a lot of different indicators. And primarily, I trade purely on price action. I like, you have to understand market structure, and you must be able to read and follow price action as well. Now, the VWAP, like I said, it is the volume weighted average price, and it could be a heavy hitter when it comes to using it, if you use it correctly, in part of your strategy, okay? Because it's not like most indicators, all right? For one thing that you have to understand, how the VWAP actually works, it takes into consideration both volume and price when calculated, okay? It's not like most indicators like your SMAs or your EMA, which are only calculated based on price movement. So there's a major difference there, okay? And this is why a lot of people prefer the VWAP over most other indicators, all right? Because the VWAP tends to allow you to continue trading in a certain direction. So I'm going to show you just, from a very general standpoint, how traders basically use it, okay? And looking at here, I have a chart of the ES up. It's a 12 range chart, and so basically, then we're talking about how you can actually use it, in the strategy that I use, okay? Which is basically I trade supply and demand. Yes, I'm a supply and demand style trader, and I basically trade using paired charts, and then sometimes I can trade, specifically just straight from the 12 range chart, which you could just trade, straight from the 5 range chart, but with all else said, you always want to make sure that, you are trading in the right direction, which means that I like to always look out on a higher time frame chart, whether it be a 1 hour chart for you, or for me, it's a 60 range chart, or maybe a 2 hour, 4 hour chart, whatever it is. You always want to make sure you're kind of following the so-called trend or whatever the case is and trading in that same direction, regardless of the strategy that you actually use. So for me, I trade supply and demand, marking off zones and levels, waiting for pullbacks, and looking for the rejection. But basically how you can use the VWAP, okay? And what most traders do is that as long, say for instance, this is, let's see, okay? Let's say for instance right here, the market was just moving higher and higher, making higher highs and higher lows. It crosses over the VWAP, right? As long as the market stays above the VWAP, and it follows suit, price is doing its thing. And for me, I'm a price action trader. So like I said, I trade price action based around and using supply and demand, okay? So if price pulls back to say a demand area, whatever the case is, and in this particular market, which is the ES futures, price pulls back, it's at a demand level, and then I see the VWAP and price is staying above the VWAP. Once price gets back to that demand area and rejects that area, then for me, it's still, I want to follow suit and continue moving in that direction of going long, okay? Again, because we are staying above the VWAP. That VWAP is that yellow line there. Most of you guys, a lot of people ask me that question time and time again. What is that yellow line on your chart? Is it some sort of SMA or EMA, whatever the case is? No, it's simply the VWAP, the volume weighted average price indicator, all right? Do I heavily use it in my actual trading? Being that I'm a pure price action trader, I'm not a stickler for I have it added to my 12 range chart, I think my 24 range chart, but I'm not a stickler of as far as, using it and saying it has to be above or below, whatever the case is, but it will keep you in the right direction, especially if you use it as a means of influence as well. So for me, price action is golden. It's everything to me. It's kind of the holy grail of my actual trading, because that's how I learned to trade once I became successful in trading, was purely price action from a naked chart. Then I started kind of dabbling and using, started adding certain things. And volume is probably the second most important thing to me. You have to be able to interpret volume when you're actually trading. So volume is important, and that's why I have the volume profile added here. Now, the VWAP, yes, I use it kind of, again, like a tertiary tool, like I use the volume profile, whatever the case is, because with all these things combined, it will help you kind of stay in the right direction. When they all come together, let's say price is pulling back to an area of supply or demand, and you're looking for that pullback, whatever the case is, and you see that prices, I talk about this when I discuss the volume profile, because I get asked that question too, which I've done videos on about the volume profile indicator. To the right hand side of the chart here, this histogram you see right here. I get questions about that. Well, how do you trade it? How do you actually incorporate it and use it in your own trading strategy? I always say sell the highs. Sell the highs and buy the lows. I like to see price when it pulls back, say for instance, to an area of demand. Is it at the outer edge of a volume area, or is it at the meaning below? Okay, if I'm going long at an area of demand, or trading going short at the top end of a volume area. But you can also bring the volume, the VWAP into play as well, because if you're, say for instance, this is a area of demand sitting right here, price pushed up, it pulls back to the VWAP, we're at the lower end of a volume area here, okay, it does kind of pull back below the VWAP, but then it pops back above, and this is the demand area. I'm going to be looking to possibly go short, because the thing about it is price didn't pull too far down and start moving and breaking lower lows and lower highs, basically breaking structure, breaking through the VWAP, pushing lower, making lower lows and lower highs with the continuation of that pattern to the downside, or whatever the case is. It basically pulled back. I'm just using this as a reference, okay? And we'll talk about and show some examples as well. But price pulling back to this area right here, which if it's just, we're using it hypothetically as an area of demand, pulls back to it. Look over to my volume profile. We're at the lower edge or the outer edge of a high volume area here. Say for instance right here, if I'm using this node right here, and then it broke below the VWAP, but it's an area of demand here, it breaks back above it. I'm probably gonna be looking to go long. So basically, the outlook is this right here. If price, as long as price kind of stays above the VWAP, okay, and when you get that set up, for me, I'm trading surround supply and demand. I'm looking at the volume profile as well, and price pulls back to certain areas where the supply or demand. Say for instance, as long as price stays above the VWAP and I'm at an area of demand, it gives me more confluence to want to go long, whatever the case is, just more confluence, okay? If we are pushing to the downside and price is below the VWAP and then it pulls back to the area of supply, and then in the same sense, we're at the upper end of or at the outer edge of a high volume area, price pulls back and it's still below the VWAP and we're at the area of supply, I'm going to be looking to go short, okay? And this is how you can use this, particular indicator, which it is a powerful indicator if you know how to use it correctly and you use it as part of your strategy in your trading. All right. Again, the VWAP is and can be a great indicator to use if you use it correctly in your strategy. All right. So if price stays above the VWAP, okay, on this pullbacks to key levels, whatever the case is, if you trade demand, say for instance, I'm using demand as a key level, and which for all those that do not know about supply and demand, I highly recommend that you just take a look at it. See if it's something that you could actually understand, as something that you could actually maybe use in your own trading, whatever the case is. But that's all I trade primarily is I look for supply and demand zones, and I trade them accordingly. And I have a simple strategy that I use. If you watch my videos, just go back to the videos, go back to my channel, the homepage. Go to a little magnifying glass, type in supply and demand, and you'll get a list of indicators that you can watch. Not indicators, I'm sorry. A list of videos that you can watch to where I'm talking about supply and demand and how I actually trade it using the strategy I do. But what I'm trying to say is that as long as price stays above the VWAP, right, and pulls back to whatever level, and you can actually trade the VWAP as a level in itself. A lot of people do, but I like to use it as a extra means of confluence. Okay, as a tertiary tool in part of my trading. Okay, it's not the primary thing or level that I'm going to trade off of. But as long as it stays above the VWAP, most people will say the market's bullish. If it stays below the VWAP and pulls back to it, as long as it stays below, then the market is what? We have more of a bearish sentiment, more of a bearish direction in the market, and you trade accordingly, correct? So if we get, like, you see the market, making structure to where it's making lower lows and lower highs, okay, throughout primarily most of a session or whatever the case is, then this would tell you that, like I said, the sentiment or the market is very bearish and the market is very weak. It's just wanting to sell off and sell off as long as it stays below that VWAP, okay? Again, VWAP is calculated or based on a formula using both, taking into consideration both price and volume, okay? So this right here will be an example of a very bearish market, all right, where the market just looks weak, okay? And all it's going to do is keep selling off, making lower lows and lower highs. And this would be an example of a very bullish market. The market is very strong. It's wanting to continue pushing to the upside. It pushes up, makes higher highs and higher lows, and every time it pulls back, the VWAP is right here. It's staying above it. It's not even really coming back to it at all. It's just breaking higher. The market is very bullish, and it's just pushing harder and harder to the upside, okay? And that was pretty much on the 4th of October, and it was just bullish all day long. So the way that most people or traders would actually trade using the VWAP, say for instance, what they'll do is they'll look for just like pullbacks. It could be a pullback to supply or demand, or whatever the case is. Most times people trade kind of what I call break and retest. That's price pulling back to either in the area of right at support or resistance, and they'll trade it that way as long as price is staying either below or above that VWAP, right? So just again, like this is the 4th of October. As long as price stays above on the pullbacks, whatever the case is, and we're continuing to make, say, higher lows. Now we're looking for a standpoint, using an example of going long, but price pulls back, as long as it stays above VWAP, whatever the case is, and price has already shown a pattern of making higher highs and higher lows, and we continue to get higher lows on the pullback, as long as it stays above the VWAP, people will go long, traders will go long, okay? Then it breaks a new high right here, it breaks this area of resistance, pulls right back to VWAP again. Again, we're here at the area of, it's not right at demand, as you can see. It's more so pulls back into, support here, not right back down to this to the tick of this area of demand, but it's staying above VWAP. And being we have another higher low here, traders will take the entry going long. You can take it at a candle break if you want to go back long. Then price continues making higher highs and higher lows, right? Then it pulls back, stays above VWAP, right here, it pulls back. We did break a little structure right here on the move, actually 2 little structures, let's see, 1, and let's see, here, and then here. Pulls back, but as long as it stays above the area of the VWAP, whatever the case is, on a pullback, and it's still making, in a sense, a higher low in a sense, even though we did make a low because we did break a little structure right here, but it didn't break VWAP. We are well away from the area of the VWAP. It breaks candle to the upside. Be mindful because you do have resistance right here, but traders will go long again. Okay, makes a new high, pulls back. Okay, we have a swing right here. Doesn't break structure at this point right here. So pulls back, doesn't break structure above the VWAP, breaking a candle, back low again to make new highs. And that pattern continues, So a lot of traders will use the VWAP as a level to trade from, in a sense, okay? Because it does carry some weight. And if I was to, that's why I do have it added to my chart, because out of all indicators, I don't use SMAs, I don't use EMAs, whatever the case is. But if I was to, be a trader that trades more so just, wanting to trade using a particular indicator, whatever the case is, to kind of keep me in the direction of the market, it would be the VWAP, and that's why I have it here, because I do use it as a means of confluence in my own trading. Okay, I'm not saying I place heavy weight on it, and because there are plenty of times prices below the VWAP for me, and I'm at a key area of demand or supply, which is untested. Say for instance, untested zones of supply and demand carry more weight to me than anything in falling price action as well. But if price is at a key area of demand either at a key area of demand or a key area of supply, especially if it's untested. So if it's at a key area of supply, key area of demand that's untested, it's at a general location that I'm looking for, or defined area when I'm looking at the volume profile, and it's following suit with the VWAP, moving in direction with the VWAP. That there just gives me solid confirmation. Confirmation 1, confirmation 2, confirmation 3. Just more confluence to want to really take that trade to either go long or short, whatever the case is, depending on what I'm looking at. Am I in the area of supply or in the area of demand? So I'm showing you how traders would actually use the VWAP if they were using it as an actual level to trade from. Okay, so I'm gonna show you how I would use it, and use it just as a reflection of looking back at to see, okay, where's price at in relation to the VWAP, okay, and looking at the volume profile. All right. Now let's just take a look at some examples here. I'm going to show you here's an area of supply. Okay, this is on the 12 range chart on October the 5th, say for instance, and we can see that the VWAP sits above price, right? Okay, and the market is making lower lows and lower highs to the downside. It makes a low right here. It pulls. It then turns around. Basically, retraces back up. Okay, tapping back into this zone here, or not that zone, but this swing here to the downside. You see it, price made a low, hit a high here, and then a lower low at the bottom down here. Okay, so making a lower low. So we got a big swing here, but price turns around. Okay, makes a little high here, lower high, and then a high here, pulling back in that swing, like I said. But then if you look at the VWAP, okay, where is it at? It's sitting above us, correct? All right, so price turns around. What does it do? It comes down, starts making lower lows, lower highs, basically breaking through this area structure, or maybe breaking through support right here. But it breaks this little area structure on the downside. Okay. All right, and then if you really see what happens here, it made a low here, okay, then it pulls back to this small area of supply right here. All right, and the way I would use it, the way I do is, I'm looking at price in relation to, okay, this is a supply zone right here, VWAP is right here, we're on a pullback, we're below, price is below the VWAP. All right, I'm looking to go short. If I get the rejection at this area of supply right here, which I do, okay, break up a candle red to the downside below that body of a green candle, I'm going short and trying to take my short back down to at least the lows right here, okay? All right? So, again, here's a couple of things. I want to say a couple of things because it does give me more means of confluence in a sense. Price pulls back to a supply zone here, okay? We're at the upper end of a high volume area, meaning above the high volume area. And I always say, if you're looking to go short at an area of supply, take it, sell the highs, okay? And you got to understand what that means, sell the highs, because think about it like this. Market makers on break and retest, you got to think about how the bank's institution moves, okay? The market makers, they like to take and sell at a higher price, and like to buy at lower prices, which means they like to get in at better price areas, okay, and get a more bang for their buck, if you think about it like that, okay. So they like to sell when price is higher and buy when price is lower. All right, if you get in basically just on a break and retest, whatever the case is, then you're getting in at the middle of I guess a area of value, in a sense, if you want to think like that. So if you had a middle of an area of value, if I'm looking to go long, I want to be at the lower end of the value area, okay, where there's cheaper prices at, and want to go long. If I'm looking to sell, I want to take from the extreme end of the value area where prices are more expensive, whatever the case is, and sell to, back down to the downside. And that's the way they like to move, okay? They like to sell at higher prices and buy at lower prices. So, again, the confluence we got at the outer edge, the upper edge of a high volume area. Please, guys, do not trade right at the dead smack at the middle of a volume area, okay? Because that's where all the volume is, and price, like, all it's going to do is kind of ping back and forth, ping back and forth. What does that mean where all the volume is? That means an area where most of the transactions in a particular area have taken place. And price is like a magnet. It likes to go back to those areas, and it's going to continue pinging in that area, okay? It's like a barrier. It's like a brick wall, like a means of protection for price. So sell when price is higher at the outer edge, meaning that where there's not as much volume, and price is going to like fall back down. All right, and then right here at the outer edge, or the lower portion of the volume area, price is going to act like a magnet and pull itself back up to the high volume area. So price likes to move from a low volume area to a high volume area, from a low volume area to a high volume area, whatever the case is. All right, so think of it like that. But supply zone, okay, price pulls back to the area of supply above a high volume area. We're below the VWAP area. I'm looking to go short, back down, and try to clear this area of liquidity right here. All right, so think of it like that. The support here, supply sitting right here, below the VWAP. We're above a high volume area right here. It's just setting you up for more means of confirmation and confluence. All right, and then the same thing happens here. So after that supply zone there, you went short, price pulls back here, right? Okay, so you went short, you scalped, you made some money. Okay, But then what happens is price pushes higher and makes a new high. So it already made a low here. It's breaking back on a retracement, taps into supply, right? We go short, but price is making higher highs and higher lows on this move to the upside. Okay? Pulls back, makes a higher low, breaks higher, takes out resistance right here. All right? Then what happened? It turns around, breaks structure back to the downside. Okay? So we broke structure to the downside. We broke these little lows, these little swings here, whatever the case is, breaking structure to the downside. It breaks support right here, makes a new low, but then it pulls back to an area of supply where resting right here at the top end of this high right here. Again, look where it's at, above a high volume area. Now we did break slightly above the VWAP, but it's not by much, and nor have we actually made a new, like a high here, pull back, made a higher low, higher highs, higher lows, falling through with structure to the upside. All it did was poke its head above the VWAP. It did not fall through, breaking higher where it formed a higher low on a pullback yet. So it broke above at an area of supply, above a high volume area. You get the rejection with the close of a red candle, breaking below the body of the green candle. Go short. Your goal, your aim is to take it back down to liquidity is resting here at support at the bottom. All right, so that's how I actually use the volume profile, not volume profile, I'm sorry guys, the VWAP, which is the volume weighted average price indicator, as a tertiary tool in my strategy that I trade each and every day. Okay, if you want to know more about the strategy and how I trade my strategy, which is very simple means or way of actually trading, go, like I said, to the home page, click on a little magnifying glass, type in supply and demand. It will pull up those videos on supply and demand, and where I talk about how I actually trade the strategy, as well as you can watch some of the videos where you can see me trade during my live recorded sessions, and you'll see how I use it. Okay, outside of that, that's all I have for you guys today. I'm gonna wrap it up here. Again, this is about using the VWAP as part of your trading strategy. And if you're interested in joining our Discord, now we do have a great community set up for future traders, primarily most people who come in and take part in the actual Discord community, either trade the micro or the E-mini S&P 500. But it doesn't matter, because the strategy, you can use the strategy at hand with any particular market. It doesn't matter if you trade Forex. It doesn't matter if you trade options. It doesn't matter, okay, guys? It doesn't matter if you trade a different market, a different future market, okay? The strategy works across all markets. So if you're interested in joining us and becoming part of the great community here on our Discord channel, I will show you that Discord right now. Let me see if I can pull it up. Okay, this is the Discord channel for Future Trading with Mike. It is free. If you're interested in joining, just find the link down in the description portion of the video, or on any video on the channel. Invite yourself in for free. It's an area where we talk about the zones and levels, talk about the future markets, whatever the case is. We also have another channel set up on the community side where traders can talk about the strategies they use and various other topics pertaining to trading, whatever the case is. Anything and everything, as long as it pertains to actual trading. Okay, so come join us, guys. Join us. Simply find the link down in the description portion of the video below, and invite yourself in. Also, if you're interested in joining the YouTube tier membership program, I'll show you that as well. And that's just basically where you can, I'll show it to you. You can join by simply clicking on join right here. What does that do? Okay, if you want to join one of the membership programs, it's basically for the price of a cup of coffee monthly. That's all it is. Pretty much everybody who's signed up is signed up with the Elite Channel members. Okay, membership. The reason being, again, there is two. There's the Loyal Channel Supporter and the Elite Channel members. Basically, you're just supporting the efforts here on the channel. But with the Elite Channel member tier, you get everything that's included in the first tier. So the first tier, you get the loyalty badges, the custom emojis, the priority reply comments, or just 2 comments. So you get all that. Plus, with the Elite Channel members, you get member shout outs. You get the exclusive member-only videos. Now, what the exclusive member-only videos are, they're private videos that I post to where I go into detail in great depth about my trade breakdowns. So it's as if you're sitting right next to me, or inside my mind, and I'm walking you through why the locations and where, giving you all the answers that need to be when it comes to my actual trading and why I trade at certain areas. So it's helped tons of traders out in trying to figure out and understand the trades that I actually took, whatever the case is. So it's helped people out, okay? So if you're interested in joining that, just click on the join button on the homepage or the join button on any video, and click on it, and you can join either one of the tiers, whatever the case is. Like I said, most people have joined the Elite Channel members because they want the exclusive video content with the trade breakdowns. But your support of signing up basically goes back to supporting the channel in a sense. You know, you're getting so much value for such a little price, okay? We're talking about $7 a month, that's all. You know, you break that down over 30 days, and that's pennies on a dollar a day, okay, for the value, for the information that you're receiving. So that's all I have for you guys today in this video. I'll see you guys next week for all those who have currently subscribed. If you have not subscribed, please smack that subscribe button down below. Click on that red button that says subscribe. Click on the bell next to it to make sure, and make sure you got all your post notifications turned on, okay? And that's pretty much it. But I thank everyone who's currently signed up and subscribed to the channel. But let me do this right now, okay? Because we have some people who actually signed up just recently, and I've been meaning to get to these guys, individuals, not guys. When I say guys, I mean I'm meaning females and males. Doesn't matter, guys. I'm not talking about any particular gender. I'm just saying guys. You guys all in general, okay? So let me go ahead, because I do have some people that I need to give shout outs to. One being, first one, Wade Ray. Second one, Michael. I believe it's Michael H on Discord. Sergio E. Lorenzo Floyd. Sharon. If I misspell your name, guys, please forgive me. Let me see if I can say this right. Sharon Anadani. Hopefully I said it correctly. And that may be it, I believe. Let's see. No, I got some more. Ron. Rashard G. Mike Chopper. Paul. And I think the other ones I have given, I've already said. Let's see. Seb Bell. Sim Trading the ES. Craig Pritchard. And I believe I've already said this one, but Ryan Dela Cruz. Tom NG. Pearl Jammer. And I believe that's it. I believe I've covered them all. Everyone who's just recently signed up for the Elite Channel membership. I thank everyone who has. Appreciate your subscription, and I'm sure that you guys have found value in becoming members of the program. So thank you guys. I'll see you guys on Monday as we get to rock and roll into a new trade week. Okay, take care.